Hi, I think it's Fernandez. I forgot exactly. Welcome. I'm so glad you guys are here. Hello, hello, hello. Insulin resistance. That's what this is all about today. Because did you know you could actually reset insulin resistance so that you could get the weight loss you want, so you can reset your metabolism and have your best health? That's what I want to talk about today because I just had a retest and a new results and recommendation with my client, and she's just a rock star. She's did it. She got her results. She's got the best energy. She says this was great. Insulin resistance is resolved. That's what she wanted overall, which was amazing. That means her blood sugar is balanced and all her intestinal markers are showing healthier, which is showing the correlation of this insulin resistance being resolved. The problem with insulin resistance is 88% of people are insulin resistant, and that is the precursor to diabetes, the pre-diabetes on disease in their body, because if your insulin levels are raised, you're going to have problems ongoing. And so you don't want to even spike up over 130. So if you're not wearing a CGM to see what your blood sugar levels are, that would be a really good habit and a hobby, especially to start it, maybe even to start it through the holidays, so you know what you're eating is causing your blood sugar dysregulation, but especially for January. And that's the one thing that I'm going to start doing for all my new clients that sign up, is they're going to get a continuous glucose monitor, because it's so empowering to see that what we eat can actually create the health that we want to live with. And that is exactly what we need. And I need to come with me while I recharge my phone. So sorry. So we need to correct our insulin resistance. All right, guys. Oops. So sorry. Okay, I'm back on track. Just realized that my phone was not as charged as I thought it was. Thank you. Yes, insulin resistance, that's the precursor to your blood sugar dysregulation. And if you're spiking up over 130, which is really not that much, you're actually creating autoimmune tissue damage, per Dr. Ben that I spoke to, Dr. Ben F8. If you follow him on Instagram, has a lot of good information on insulin resistance, solving insulin resistance. And he uses glucose monitors for all his clients, just like I'm going to start doing, because we need to know what our blood sugar levels are. I've been playing with that. I've been doing my glucose monitor, and it's been pretty steady. I have been between 70 and 100 pretty regularly. I rarely go up over 70, except for when I'm eating, it might be 106. And then it, pops back down. And then if I exercise, it'll go up as well. So definitely doing good on that. The pattern's good. I'm not having any problems, so it's good to know. But it's been fun kind of tracking that to see what's going on. And fasting glucose, waking up with fasting glucose 150 to 166 it's insulin resistance. And so trying to get your carbohydrates down lower is the goal overall. To not eat ultra-processed food, period. We don't need to eat wheat. Wheat will cause us to have elevated blood sugar levels in everybody, and it causes gut dysfunction. And so that's one of the things I'm really excited about with my client, for all the wins that she's had. And I'm going to address a couple of questions here, and then I'll get into the wins that my client has. So when you're fasting and eating low carb, your body, when you're diabetic, your body's pancreas has been damaged. There's pancreatic insufficiency. Your pancreas has to heal. So getting your blood sugar levels under control may take a while but you still want to eat more low carb. And over time, the blood sugar levels are going to balance out as your body gets healthier. But then, once you take lower your insulin response, your pancreas doesn't have to work so hard. You're going to have better insulin sensitivity going forward. So that's just something that you need to keep focused on. Feel free to put your questions in. Definitely, if constipated, you want to get some magnesium citrate for constipation. Once that's resolved, then you can use magnesium glycinate. Glycinate's more for bedtime when you want to relax more, and citrate magnesium is better for constipation. So yep, those are some of the things that you can do overall. So let's get back to the wins that I'm so excited for. Insulin resistance resolved. That is so exciting because when that happens, blood sugar is balanced. And when that's happened, that means you're resetting your metabolism, and that is aging healthy. And we can get healthier and reclaim our health when we actually follow a low carb diet so that we can reverse our risk for disease going forward. And the tests that I run are the GI map. So this is a GI map here test here. This is the one of the ones that I run, and it's going to show us dysbiosis of the bacteria, which bacteria are good, which bacteria are bad. It's going to actually show us whether you've got H. pylori, what your commensal keystone bacteria are, the opportunistic bacteria, also autoimmune bacteria are going to show. And so we want to get all of that organized and balanced so that you have less autoimmune risk. And that's what this client did. She was able to get all of her autoimmune bacteria lower, and her intestinal markers were all corrected. So there was, and then Akkermansia is a really important mucosal lining bacteria that needs to be strong, and that is also something that needs to be balanced. And so she corrected that one as well. And it's just been a really great journey. And so a lot of the times I'm noticing with my clients' lab works is the pancreatic insufficiency. That is a blood sugar dysregulation. That's your insulin levels turned on too much. That is your pancreas working too hard. You don't want it to become insufficient, which is a lot harder to reverse. So you want to balance your blood sugar markers, balance your blood sugar in your diet so that you can correct your pancreas so that it can work better for you in the long term. It can't be and the way that I'm noticing in the labs is it comes up red or elevated, red or yellow elevated as insufficient. So this is the elastase 1 marker. And almost always I'm seeing dysfunction with the pancreas with people who are eating the standard American diet. When you eat more of a low carb diet, that's going to correct itself. That's what I'm noticing in the lab work with the retest. And so that's pretty exciting to see that change. And so that's a great metabolic reset right there, is correcting some pancreatic support. And then there was the other markers are malabsorption. So there's a lot of fat, protein, fat, and carbohydrate malabsorption because of low stomach acid and poor digestion. So those are all of the things I'm checking for in my testing with my clients to see what's going on so that we can correct those. And that's the information that I need to help guide you guys so that we can get you corrected and get your metabolism revving correctly. This is why you want to look under the hood and test and find out what's going on so that you can correct these things. We can guess. We can guess at all of these things, but overall, you just gotta give low carb a chance to work. Give it 30 to 90 days. See how you're feeling. Once you get out of the old habits of eating carbohydrates, processed food, go down to vegetables, berries, nuts and seeds, avocados, olives, pickles. Get your good animal fats, get your good animal proteins. When you start doing that and eating whole foods like that, you're going to get better overall gut health and better overall eventually get digestion. And if your digestion's not working, you're going to need a digestive enzyme. That's just what helps. I'm even on a digestive enzyme because I want to make sure that I'm absorbing my fat and my digestion is functioning right now. So that I'm kind of went back on to support my digestion as I work more towards a higher protein, a higher fat diet myself. So I'm loving the results that my client got. She said this was a great journey. She was so appreciative. She says the best thing she got was that insulin resistance resolved. This is what I always hope for and plan for with my clients is part of, if you go to my website at loribaloo.com, you can see my framework for my business method is to help you have a metabolic analysis to help you get the labs run so we could find out what's going on in your body. And the whole idea is to get your body to reset the metabolism, to balance your blood sugar. And a lot of the times that's anywhere from 20 to 30 pounds of weight, depending on where you start and you know what you're doing. But this client lost about 22 pounds overall. And that's the best weight she's had lost in a really long time, that she's at her lowest weight that she's been in for a really long time. That's what she mentioned. So excited and struggled her whole life with trying to get this controlled, like we all do, is struggle because as long as you keep carbohydrates in your diet, you're going to struggle with hunger and cravings. And we want to turn that off. And the only way to turn it off is to reduce the carbohydrates in our diet and to reduce those ultra processed foods, which are causing your body to be starving, that don't give you any nutrition. They'll fill up your stomach and make you feel full in the moment, but then they're going to make you hungry and make you start craving food, and you're going to get hangry when your blood sugar goes up and drops down. And so we want to make sure that we get all of that corrected. And bromelain, like someone's question is bromelain. Bromelain can be a good anti-inflammatory management for the body. There's a lot of things we could do for anti-inflammatory support, and those are some of the things that I do when I work with you in my programs, is help you get the specific, right, targeted supplementation for what's going on in your body so that I can help you resolve it more quickly and collapse the time it takes for your body to get healthy by knowing exactly what's going on in your body. But it's huge when you can support your pancreas and reduce the insulin surges in your body by making sure that your metabolism is functioning. So I love the fact that even with H. pylori, you could get it to the point that it's gone or barely detected, which means you're managing it better and you don't have to keep taking so much supplements. You can go down to food support or a specific bacteria that's going to help you do that. But getting your autoimmune bacteria under control and lower is huge. And akromansia, if it's elevated, that's like MS turned on. We need to get those things corrected and resolved. And these are some things that we can do. And you can correct and have a stronger immune system. Often when we leave in the foods that we're sensitive to, we have an inflammatory response in our body that is ongoing, causing gut inflammation. So one of the first things I do is run that food sensitivity test. Then we eliminate for 3 to 6 months the foods that you're having problems with so we can get your inflammation balanced in your body and help you reset your immune system and get those antigen responses to stop causing problems. When that happens, that's when you're going to start getting better intestinal markers, healthier overall energy, and less brain fog because you're going to be able to work towards what needs to be done. Another so she did resolve the H. pylori to just detected, and immune system is stronger. Dopamine markers are improved. And what I'm noticing working with clients and understanding digestion, when you're not digesting your food, when you're not getting protein and neurotransmitters into your brain and your body and your brain can't function. So many people are on antidepressants because they're just not getting the amino acids absorbed into their body. That is huge, and that's a big problem. And that's what I'm noticing, that we need to fix digestion and be able to reduce the malabsorption that's happening in the body that's causing that starvation. When you're got dysfunction, and when you're overweight, you might be pre-diabetic or diabetic. Part of that problem is there's a starvation because of malabsorption. So we need to be able to absorb our food. And so this is something that's so excited to work on and to find these results and to see that she's got that great energy. She could do what she wants to do. And this was the gift to her turning 70, and she got all of this under control, super excited. And even better, estrogen detoxification, because beta-glucuronidase, which is a marker in the GI map, was elevated. Now it corrected, and the estrogen in her Dutch test correlates with this because it is lower. The estriol specifically is lower. So that was super exciting to know that detoxification worked. And knowing that the dopamine markers are better is really good. So we got to get that protein in our body. We need to be able to work well. So getting all kinds of fiber in our body to begin with is going to help you manage your diet, manage your appetite, and make you feel full. And if you get the soluble fibers into your body, that's also going to help you. And you could even add it to kefir. I've got a client that's adding soluble fibers like chia. You can add psyllium husk. You can put fibers into some coconut milk or some kefir, and then that can make you feel full. That's soluble fiber that can help nourish your good bacteria. And that can make your brain feel good because this is the gut-brain connection, where if we nourish our gut, we then have a healthier gut, less inflammation, and then our brain works better. This is how you get rid of depression. This is how I got rid of my depression, was clearing up my gut and stopping eating the foods that was causing me to have inflammation going from my gut to my brain, causing that dysfunction. So if you don't feel good, if you don't feel like you've got the energy, you want to work on getting rid of the wheat and reducing your food sensitivities, because that makes a huge difference. So when you go on a keto diet, a low carb diet, what you're doing is taking away the foods that we are mostly sensitive to. You won't know exactly, because some people are sensitive to collagen, beef, eggs, all kinds of things run up, even dairy and wheat. So you won't know exactly, but you could still start to feel better and give yourself a challenge. If you do this before the holidays start, it's a good idea, because you don't want sugar to hijack your taste buds and throw you off and you gain 10 pounds over the next 2 months. And so if you would like to join me on my webinar, I have a webinar monthly. So if you're catching this later, it's just check in with me and email me, or check out my links here under this video and in YouTube. But it is going to be Slender Over 50 is still the title right now. And it is the holistic path to healthy aging. So I'm having a new webinar on Sunday, this Sunday, the 3rd at 4 p.m. Pacific. So I hope you can make it. If you want to make it, you can come and hang out with me and ask a few more questions, and there'll be some specials. If you do want to set up a call with me and find out more about your health concerns and how I could help you, then that's always going to be an option, but never any hard sells on my side. It's just, if that's what you're interested in. I like to say that if you want this, I'll take you there, because this is what I do. This is what is exciting. If we're fit to work together and you're interested in correcting your insulin resistance so that you don't have to have prediabetes and diabetes going forward, get yourself on a low carb diet, get yourself on a keto diet. A low carb diet tends to be a little higher carb. Keto tends to be lower carb. Keto tends to be higher fat. Low carb tends to be lower fat, and the protein can change in there. So just get started. I'm working on my Food Bridges recipe book, and I'm going to have that done hopefully by the end of this week and available for purchase in December. Super excited about that. It's going to be an e-recipe book so that I can get it out to you. But my message to you here is, you can reclaim your health. You can get 10 to 20 more years of active quality life by changing the diet and taking your sugar out. Sugar is a toxin to our body. It's not a quick toxin, but it will cause all kinds of havoc. It'll make you tired. It'll make you crave the foods that you don't want to eat, because you know those foods aren't as healthy for you. If you are like me, where you can't stop eating foods that taste sweet, and you get the food addiction, and you just can't stop eating certain things, it could be because you're not getting enough protein. It could be because you're not getting enough fat, but it also could be that that's just part of the DNA that you're stuck with. But our DNA can be expressed through epigenetics in our environment, and we can control it to some degree, which is what I do, and it's why I've lost 100 pounds, and why my clients will reset their metabolism and lose 20 pounds to start, and then they add on to that as they go through it. So this is all something that is happening. So if you want 20 pounds of weight loss, you want to resolve insulin resistance, you want to resolve blood sugar dysregulation, I've got you. Just let me know. At the bottom of this, if you're on YouTube, you can click the link in YouTube. In Instagram, you're going to want to go to my bio or check my stories out. I'm always putting links in there. Come join me at my webinar and see how I am more. I'll give you 2 hours of my time. There'll be questions and answer. And I'm here for you so you guys can learn and be empowered, because I didn't know this in my younger years. I struggled my whole life being overweight and depressed, having anxiety, asthma, sore degenerating knees, getting arthritis coming in, having trouble breathing. Those things are all gone. All gone. I've reclaimed my health. So I know you can do this. People do it all the time. There's so many stories out there. Don't give up. Don't give up. And it's not mandatory to have 70 to 80% of fat on keto. Is one of the questions coming in. Right now, you want to just get your carbs under 50. Eat fat naturally. If you're hungry and you're having cravings, you might need more fat. We don't want a fat-free diet, because if you get a fat-free diet, you're going to have protein poisoning. We are meant to have fat with our protein. We are not meant to just eat protein and not have fat. So it's either fat or your carbs or your energy source. So if you take your carbs out as your energy source, you want to increase the fat. The fat will help your body learn how to become a fat burner. And the fat will help you burn ketones. And so our brain loves ketones, and you will have better energy, better clarity, and less depression with ketones in your brain. There's a lot of books out there on that. A lot of good information coming out on metabolic psychiatry. Super empowering for anybody if you want better brain health to reduce the risk of all of those brain conditions. They're studying that. Olive oil is a good fat. I even sip it straight out of my bottle. You want to make sure it's real, 100% extra virgin olive oil, because they'll spike that with vegetable oils, and you don't want to be using vegetable oil that is in olive oil. So you're going to be very careful of that. Butter and ghee are good fats. Animal fats are actually better than vegetable oils. Vegetable oils are actually very toxic and are oxidized. We don't want any oxidized oils in our body. Animal fats are not oxidized. They're actually good for our arteries. What's bad for the arteries, you guys, is sugar. Sugar and too many carbohydrates that turn into sugar in your body. So that's your glucose load in your body. That's stressing out your pancreas, stressing out your insulin load on your body, and causing your blood sugar spikes. The carbohydrates do that, and your body has to heal. And so the pancreas hopefully can get back to health. Whether it can come back full, it's hard to say how much damage is done per person, but taking the insulin load off the body and taking the pancreatic load off the body is a good idea. Alcohol is going to turn to sugar and cause all kinds of havoc in your body. It's a toxin to the brain and the body. So if you're drinking alcohol, one of the things you could do is maybe go down to kava, get sparkling water, use limes and lemon, but it's a choice. Health is a choice. And I made it my choice because I didn't feel good in my body, and I wanted to have better health, and I wanted to be excited about life. And that's what I got back. I got excitement back. When you get brain energy back on track, when you lose that first 20 pounds, you're going to be so excited about life again. That's what we want. Ezekiel bread is a no-go. It's not gluten-free. Do not eat Ezekiel bread. Nope, nope, nope. Take that out. Only base culture or unbun have good keto breads, to my knowledge, or you can make it yourself at home. You can make any kind of keto bread at home, but Ezekiel still has wheat. It's a whole grain bread. It's a better choice if you're eating wheat, but if you have diabetes or insulin resistance, you don't want to put any sugar load on your body because you want to reverse it. As long as there's a sugar load on your body. And I remember when I was still 185 pounds, struggling to stay under 200 pounds, I was still eating fruit. Had honey. Honey caused me to have insulin resistance. I could feel it coming in like a cloud to cloud my body. If I ate Ezekiel bread, I would get brain fog, and that raises the insulin resistance. And if you're still pre-diabetic or diabetic, you don't want to add carbohydrates onto there, because that's going to cause you to have a rise in your insulin and keep your gut inflamed. So not even one slice is acceptable. Look for unbun or base culture, or use siete tortillas, which do have some starch in them, but they don't have any wheat, so you have to eat them minimally. The whole goal is to eat more animal protein and get your vegetables so that your gut can heal. We don't really want to rely on bread, but what we want to do right now is maybe use the food bridges to cross over from processed food to holistic low carb lifestyle, where you're minimizing the carbohydrates and replacing everything that you've been eating and that you're used to that made you feel good and gave you a dopamine response. Replace that with a low carb alternative. So if you need to still have bread, there are, like, Outer Aisle or even Trader Joe's has the cauliflower rounds that you could use. I toasted those up this morning and enjoyed that, and I'm going to have a hamburger bun with it later. And the other thing is you could just make bread. So look up any recipe. You could get something as simple as a jar of tahini butter, 4 eggs, a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, a teaspoon of baking soda. You whip all that up in a blender and you stick it in a pan that's got parchment paper on it first. And you put it in the oven and you cook it for 20 to 30 minutes. And you have bread. That's simple. This really is simple. You have to choose to do something different to get different results in your body. If you want to resolve insulin resistance and not get pre-diabetic or diabetic, or to correct those situations, carbohydrates need to be minimally under 100, and to lose the weight and get healthy, you want it to be under 50. Those are what all the studies are showing. And that's what I had to do. I had to give up all the fruit. I was eating goji berries, golden berries, and mulberries, and I had to give all that up. I was grateful to give it all up because I have so much better health without them. Now that my insulin resistance is reset, I can have some fruit if I want it, but I don't like to have a lot of fruit because when it's sweet, sets off my cravings and I will overeat it. So if I want to have a treat, I'll buy a pint of berries and I'll eat the whole thing and then I'll just be done with it. That's something I do, but I don't like to do blueberries because that sets off my cravings. But, a few berries and a few things are gonna be okay, and, we want to really look at reducing the things that cause insulin resistance in our body. That's gonna be the sugar and the processed food, the wheat in the diet. The wheat actually raises your blood sugar more than sugar does alone, the alcohol. And so working on reducing those. Don't put any Halloween candy in your mouth because one bite's gonna set it off. Try to stay away from that. Go and get some Lily's chocolate. I had Lily's chocolate chips the other day in my I make a protein pudding out of eggs, and it's gonna be in my recipe book, and I've tweaked the recipe that's going around to the what I like to put in it for a higher protein count. Because this is all about protein. Your body is starving at the nutritional level. The cellular system is starving. You could be eating and feel you're satiated, but your body is starving. It's starving because there's malabsorption of carbohydrates, malabsorption of protein, and malabsorption of fat. And I'm seeing that in the labs all the time. And so that's what was noticed in this client's lab test. She shows those as corrected. So I'm super excited to see all of these changes happen. And I'm seeing it across the board that we can make these changes and reset our metabolism. And that's reclaiming your health for 10 to 20 more years of quality life so you can have your best life. So it can happen. Just keep doing it. Don't get too stressed out about doing this. Just get started. Keep making the changes. You have to biohack your health. You have to follow other people on YouTube and myself who are doing this, getting the results so you can feel comfortable in your body about what you're doing. And feel free to, if you're on Instagram, to go to my YouTube station. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and just follow some of my videos and let me know you're out there. Make some comments. And if you've got a question that you want resolved that you want me to maybe do a video on, let me know about that as well. If you've got a lot of questions, you may need to book a call with me. I do have an hour call. This hour call is on special for new clients at $99. So I don't have that in my links, but if that's what you're interested in, it is in my Instagram. If you go to my Instagram bio, you'll see the links there where you can actually purchase that call and get a lot of good information for free or for $99, but it's a lot. I give you a lot of information. Since I wish I could answer all your questions quickly, but that's not always easy, but I try to do my best. I know a lot of this can be complicated. It may seem complicated, but the simple thing to really focus on is getting started with a low carb diet. And the reason you want to get started with a low carb diet, especially for women over 50, is because it does reverse insulin resistance and your precursors for lifestyle diseases. 9 out of 10 of the diseases that of aging are lifestyle created lifestyle diseases that we can correct. And so that's what we want to do. We want to correct them. We want to, if we can, reduce our risk for these so that we don't have to deal with them. And this is where I call flipping the sugar switch off to flip your disease-causing genes off. This is the epigenetic expression of your DNA, which means that you have the choice through environment to either pull the trigger on the gun, which is your DNA, or to not pull that trigger, which is not expressing your DNA, by having better health, choosing to have health by what you put in your body and your environment. So that's something that we can choose to do. It is so exciting that we get to choose to do this. And that's what I wanted to come on here to talk to you about today, to let you know that this great results that my client had. She ran all 6 labs. We had lots of good information. She reran the Dutch and the GI map, and so much good information to know that she's on the right direction and what she was doing is working for her. And for her, her best and biggest win was that insulin resistance resolving because that's what she wanted. She wanted to age healthy. She wanted to not worry about that. She didn't want to have the cravings. She wanted to be able to be in control of her body and her hormones, and she is. So it's so exciting to know that we have that ability to do for our body. Okay, guys, thank you for coming on with me. And I'll try to pop on again tomorrow, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.